A surprising development has emerged regarding Max's future in Formula One. According to Sky F1 Italia, there's some serious discussion happening between the four-time world champion and Toto Wolff. When rumours fly, there's often truth buried within, and Max's own comments suggest that a captivating and possibly contentious summer break is in store. With Silverstone just ahead, the question arises, could Mercedes be preparing to make a daring decision? If this move happens, who will Verstappen replace in the Mercedes lineup? While speculation about Max joining Mercedes grows by the day, these whispers remain just that, speculation. No concrete decisions have been made yet. However, remarks from key figures like Wolff, Russell and Verstappen offer clues on where things might lead. The latest update from Sky Sports F1 Italia hints that these behind-the-scenes negotiations could be further along than anyone expected. Max is clearly unhappy with Red Bull's car updates and performance issues, a fact that Horner above all is acutely aware of. So, what lies ahead for the duo that clinched 4 straight championships together? Breaking up might seem like a sensible option, even if it feels controversial and seems unlikely to most F1 fans and experts. However, in the fast-paced world of Formula One, there's always some truth behind the rumours. Take, for instance, Lewis Hamilton's talks with Ferrari. So what opportunities are out there for Max Verstappen? Things aren't looking up at Red Bull. Reports from reputable sources mention that the 4-time world champion has raised concerns about Horner's management style. As a top driver, you don't want to stick around with a team that's not on an upward trajectory. This is why Sky Sports F1 Italia suggests that Verstappen is now in serious discussions with Wolff about teaming up. Let's not overlook Wolff's recent comments. Max joining Mercedes seems destined, though the timing remains uncertain. Ultimately, the team from Brackley seems to have the upper hand in the new competitive landscape, thanks largely to their powerful engines. This is something Max Verstappen might want to consider if he decides to switch teams. Although reports suggest Max agreed to join Mercedes, the decision still awaits approval from some board members. The tricky part for Mercedes is that signing Verstappen could mean letting go of George Russell, a long-standing team member who has risen through the ranks from Williams, where he started in 2019. Meanwhile, Russell is negotiating a contract with Mercedes that could net him €35 million next season. Toto Wolff has promised an update on these negotiations at the upcoming event in Silverstone. However, given the current situation, Russell might be wise to explore other options, such as Red Bull or Aston Martin, since Wolff seems focused on bringing Verstappen on board. Wolff's careful comments about Verstappen possibly joining Mercedes hint at upcoming changes in the driver lineup. He mentioned that while they have a great partnership with current drivers Kimi and George, there's also a 4-time world champion who needs to make his future plans clear. As a team leader, Wolff emphasizes the importance of understanding these decisions to make informed, long-term plans. Rumors are swirling about Wolff's choices, especially if he decides to team up with Verstappen. The big question is, who gets the boot? Antonelli's signed up through 2026, and he's been touted as the sport's upcoming star, so cutting him loose isn't just difficult, it could haunt you later as a huge blunder. On the flip side, Russell is a top-tier driver, clinching victories in 2025 and steering the team in fresh directions, which makes Wolff's decision even tougher. But Karan Chandok from Sky F1 suggests that the smart move for Wolff would be to let Russell go. Meanwhile, Christian Horner, the head of Red Bull, might face blame for the team's recent struggles. After the internal conflicts, Horner was trusted with substantial control, but if things stay the same, Jos Verstappen's warning about the team's potential downfall may prove true, painting him as far from irrational. Adrian Newey's departure from the team was soon followed by Wheatley and Connaughton, leaving Max Verstappen dissatisfied with the current state of affairs at Red Bull. As reported by Automoto and Sport, the 4-time world champion has urged Red Bull to either reduce Christian Horner's authority or remove him from his team principal role altogether if they hope to retain him as their driver. It's a risky play to try and salvage the team's integrity before his contract expires in 2028, yet the idea of ousting a long-standing figure like Horner seems daunting. So, how does Verstappen react to all this turmoil? Known for steering clear of deep entanglements, he's cautious about engaging too intensely while still keeping his options open, specifically the prospect of moving to Mercedes. The notion is gaining traction, thanks in part to his well-known exit clause. When asked about possibly joining Mercedes, Verstappen remarked, "There's not much more for me to say. The more I talk, the more headlines I create, and that's not what I want. I chart my own course." But let's be practical. Even if the thought of Verstappen in a Mercedes uniform seems far-fetched, why would Toto Wolff even bring up the possibility if there wasn't some truth to it? If he's committed to keeping the current team, what's stopping him from giving Russell what he's due and ending all the gossip? Even Russell isn't upset about Wolff chatting with Verstappen. As a team boss, it's natural to explore the best options. Yet, looking at the bigger picture, these talks might shake the confidence of the current drivers. Not Antonelli, since he's signed on until 2026, but Russell. I'm not claiming Russell is superior to Verstappen, but he might be more dependable. Verstappen has hinted he won't race here much longer, and Russell has been key in Mercedes' recent progress. So, if Wolff considers the current team his dream, why risk unsettling it by bringing in Verstappen, who's seen as a top-tier choice over Russell? This is the tricky situation Wolff will need to explain, not only to his drivers, but also to the media. Russell handled the rumours about Verstappen joining Mercedes calmly. He stated that to reach the top again, Mercedes must ensure they have the best drivers, engineers and pit crew. Mercedes is on the hunt, and naturally they're in talks with top talents like Verstappen. But honestly, if I'm performing at my best, why should I worry? Every Formula One team has 2 spots after all. Meanwhile, Martin Brundle thinks Russell might be feeling a bit uneasy, hinting that he's been reaching out to other teams to secure his place if things don't go the way he hopes. However, the British driver confidently states he's got a future in Formula One and will definitely be on the grid in 2026, though he's vague about whether that's with Mercedes. Interestingly, he hinted that his relationship with Mercedes is anything but set in stone. This unfolding drama is bound to keep us on edge and entertained for quite some time. We need to keep a realistic perspective on this whole scenario. Russell is actively discussing his future with Mercedes, and it's quite likely that we won't see any significant changes on the grid in 2026. That's because it's the inaugural year for the new regulations, and every team will be eager to assess how their vehicles perform. If Red Bull continues to struggle, Wolff will likely ramp up efforts to convince Max to switch to Mercedes. However, if Mercedes starts dominating and Russell leads the way, it would be quite a challenge to consider replacing a driver at the peak of his career. Imagine this: Russell is leading the championship, Red Bull is in disarray, and Antonelli can't keep pace with his teammate. How could you even think about telling Russell he'd be swapped for Verstappen when he's on the verge of clinching your team's first title since 2020? This subject is full of twists and turns. Ultimately, though, Verstappen's future with Red Bull is far from guaranteed. Considering all of this, what are your thoughts on the recent rumours linking Verstappen to Mercedes? Additionally, do you believe Wolff will go all out to secure this deal for the 2026 season? Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.